Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of E-Cell IIT Kanpur, I welcome you to the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge 2025. Our aim is to spark creativity, innovation, and confidence in the next generation of entrepreneurs. About E-Cell IIT Kanpur, at IIT Kanpur, our entrepreneurship cell has always believed that every great innovation starts with a spark. We help students turn that spark into reality by connecting them with mentors, incubators, and investors. From the very first idea to successful startups, we guide the journey. Now, what is YEC? YEC is designed for students of classes 9 to 12. It gives you a taste of entrepreneurship, spotting real problems, building solutions, learning startup basics, and pitching your ideas like real founders. In short, it's a complete startup journey in the form of a challenge. Vision. Our vision is simple to ignite problem solving and innovation in young minds. Even if you don't launch a company right away, the skills you gain here, teamwork, critical thinking, and communication will stay with you for life. Incentives winners get prizes worth 3 lakh rupees, free passes to E-Summit 2025, mentorship from industry experts, certificates from IIT Kanpur, and media coverage. But beyond these, the real reward is the experience of building and pitching your very first startup idea. Coming to the structure and timeline, now let me walk you through the journey of YC 2025, the most exciting part. On 17th August, which is today, the website is live and registrations are open. Students can register individually or in teams of up to 3. And on 20th October, the registrations will close. 26th October, we begin with a quiz round designed to test your entrepreneurial mindset and creativity. On 10 November, teams submit their idea desk, a short business plan explaining the problem, solution, and how the idea works. 3rd December, results are announced and the best teams move forward. 8th to 15th December, the selected finalists enter the mentorship phase, working with experts to refine and polish their ideas. And finally, the grand finale at E-Summit IIT Kanpur, where finalists will pitch in front of top judges, entrepreneurs, and investors. All finalists will also receive exclusive free passes to E-Summit, one of India's largest entrepreneurship festivals. Over the years, E-Cell IIT Kanpur events have been graced by leaders like Aman Gupta, Ashneer Grover, and Kunal Shah, among many others. It's the same stage where students now get to showcase their own ideas. Last year, YEC saw participation from more than 2,000 students across the country. This year, we aim to reach even more young innovators with bigger ideas and greater energy. So, are you ready to take the first step into entrepreneurship? Are you ready to turn your ideas into reality? If yes, then join us for YC 2025. Registrations are now open. And for any doubts, you can contact our team. The numbers and names of the people is given to you. Now, I am excited to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Ankit Garg, CEO of Emu Masale. He will be leading today's workshop, sharing practical insights on entrepreneurship, innovation, and ideation. Ideation is how one can first get the idea before moving forward for this competition. Along with him, we have ESL team members today, Hirmi, Viresh, Yash, to coordinate with Sir for this workshop. Let's welcome him. Yes, sir, you're live.
Hi everyone, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Okay, so myself Ankit Garg, I started this company Emu Masale, and I am from IIT Delhi, and today we are going to discuss how to get ideas for your business or a startup. So most of you think that great companies are built on great ideas. I'll tell you that that's a myth. Great companies are not built on great ideas. Great companies are built on ideas that actually solve a problem. So today's session would be around how you can figure out an idea, how to get ideas and build something upon it. So who is Aida Zanetti? If you know, she was actually trying to solve a problem. She got this idea that Muslim women's, when they want to enjoy on beach, or when they want to go into sports, their traditional attire that don't suit these kind of activities, right? There came the idea of burkini. She built burkini, and she's an Australian woman, an Australian designer, and burkini is $1 billion idea, right? She looked for a pain point and she built burkini. The aha moment for Kunwar Sachdev. Who know Kunwar Sachdev? So Kunwar Sachdev, as you know, in India, uh, stable electricity was a problem, right? Kunwar looked upon this problem and came up with the idea, and now this idea is one of the leading companies in India. It is Sucam. They're into batteries, they're into a lot of other things, renewable energy, EV tech. Sucam was born seeing the problem of India, the stable electricity supply in India, unstable. Aha moment for Sabyasachi. So Sabyasachi, he saw that Indians were actually trying to uh, copy the Western attire, the Western outfits. So what Sabyasachi did? He created Indian attire and he promoted Indian outfits. He promoted Indian clothes. So that is what Sabyasachi did. You know, there's a brand which is actually, you see their ads. They are actually building for India, building clothes for India. It's you see Virat Kohli, Anushka Sharma in their ads. That brand is called Manevar. So what was the aha moment for Mekalu Tiki? So when McDonald's came to India, they saw that okay, pork burgers, pork patties that won't work in India. If we talk about beef burgers, patties that won't work in India. So they created a patty with potato and vegetables, and it was an instant click. Simple idea, an instant click, an instant success. So that was the aha moment for McAloo Tiki. So after seeing all these examples, if I ask you how you can come up with an idea, where are ideas generated? Where are $1 billion businesses formed? So ideas generate from these 4 points. First is a real pain. If you're solving a real pain, right? You know about Ola, you know about Uber, right? What are they solving? Earlier, you had to negotiate with the cab drivers. You had to get down on the streets. You have to call the cab drivers, and then you had to negotiate the price. And a lot of times, the cab drivers would deny taking you to a particular location because that was not their usual route, right? That was the pain. What they did, how they solved the problem, they onboarded all the drivers on a platform, on a tech platform, Ola and Uber, and they solved a pain problem, right? The pain, how to get to these pain points? Like you are school students, you face a lot of exam time stress. That's the pain. Solve for it. You have heavy bags. You have to carry your water bottles. You have to take notes on your notebooks. A lot of times, those notebooks are not. You leave those notebooks or you forget those notebooks at your home. So can you solve for that? Right. These are the pains. Come up with solutions, keeping your pain points in mind. Do something for the living. Like if you talk about Flipkart was an actual startup which was born in India when there was a not lot of startup culture, right? So Flipkart executives, people at the top management at Flipkart, once Flipkart was actually sold to Walmart, they started working on their own companies, and their individual companies are so big. We call them Flipkart mafias. So they knew how to come up with ideas. They knew how to solve the problems because they worked with Flipkart in solving the problems, right? So they created companies. They saw that there's a problem of cash management. So they created Phone Pay. They saw a problem with this the Mintra, if you see. So Flipkart and Amazon, they were doing everything, but there was no company actually in the market who were solving the e-commerce problem for the fashion industry, right? So Mintra came up. So these are all the problems that they solved because they knew that they have this problem in the industry. So when you're in an industry, when you work in the industry for quite some time, you understand what is the problem of the industry. So that's how you can do something from whatever you are doing, right? You can figure out problems and you can solve for that. That's how ideas are generated. Now you can utilize your core skills. If you are having a core skill like someone who is a doctor and he goes and does an MBA. So what he can do? He can create a management platform for doctors. He can create a management platform for hospitals, right? He knows what problems the doctors face. He knows, and he has the skills to think in that direction. If you try to build something like that, if you try to build something for doctors, you might face some issues. But someone with that core skill, that building something for doctors, and he's having something of management education or startup education, right? He has worked with startups. You can build something like that. If you're a lawyer, so have you seen any tech product coming up which actually solves problems for lawyers? Right. I have seen a few, but if you have that core skills, like law is your core skill, you know law better than everybody else. So you can create something, a knowledge hub, something, a tech stack for lawyers, right? Like Stack Overflow. If you have heard about it? So one of my known, he created a a technical stack like Stack Overflow for doctors. Can you do that for lawyers? So you can utilize your core skills and you can come up with ideas and excellent ideas and you can solve that. How to adapt to capture opportunities. So that's the fourth problem that you can do. Like when we see edtech boom, the edtech boom stayed for a period of time, which was COVID, right? Companies who were building pre-COVID, there was this company, Whitehead Junior. It was built and sold within a 19-month time frame. So catch that trend. Can you catch that trend? So it's COVID. You don't know when schools will reopen. You don't know when institutes or educational institutes would reopen. Adapt to capture those kind of opportunities. Right? That's how you come up with ideas. So what are the four golden words? The four golden words where you can look for ideas are faster, cheaper, better, and more. If you can do something faster, like there are a lot of companies, there are legacy companies working for 80 years, 100 years. Can you do something faster? Cheaper. Can you do something in a cheaper way? Like we had Airtel, we had uh, Reliance, Geocom, which we say, Arcom, Reliance. Then we had Tata, Docomo. Then we had Uninor, all these players. Then we had Vodafone. Then we had Idea, and Geo came up. What exactly did they do? They made data cheaper. Geo is also a startup, right? What they figured out the problem that data is actually expensive, and India and across the world, data is expensive. So what they did, they made data cheaper. They innovated in the uh, optical. They laid down optics throughout the world, throughout India, and then they made data cheaper. Right. So can you do something better? Like, have you seen the mobile phones? The first foldable phone, the Note Flip launched by Samsung. So the first foldable, the Note Flip, the major, which was actually mass selling to the market, made by Samsung, and then next year, another brand came up, and they get a better version of that phone. Next year, other brand comes up, and they give you a better version of the phone. So have you seen it? They're making something better, right? Tesla. What is Tesla doing? Like we had battery operated cars before Tesla, right? People thought they were big companies. Ford was there, Toyota was there, Volkswagen Group was there. But what Tesla did, Tesla is a startup. What Tesla did, they made better EVs, right? If you talk about faster, what can you do faster? You know, Blinkit, earlier it was Grofers. So there's this startup. I don't know how many of you are from Delhi or around Delhi NCR. There was a startup OT Pie, which gave you fresh farm produce, fresh vegetables in the morning at your houses. So the parent company's Crow Farm, they have actually shut doors. They are not operating while I'm talking, right? So why did this happen? Because Blinkit is doing the same thing. Like Blinkit is doing it in 10 minutes. In with OTPI, you had to put your order one day before. Like in the evening, you have to put your order so that you can have your veggies, fresh veggies in the morning. But Blinkit is doing that in 10 minutes. So that is something faster. So that's a startup, an idea. Faster, cheaper, better, and more. What about more? So we went. My brother, he watches a lot of movies in cinema halls. So you know the popcorns, they're really expensive. So you can create popcorns at home. You can watch Netflix at home. But to have that cheese flavor, so he wanted to put on cheese flavor on in those popcorns. So there was no popcorn brand in the supermarket which was offering cheese flavored popcorns. Right. So what he did, he actually went to the supermarket. He tried to get the cheese flavor, but he didn't find anywhere. So what he did, he went to Amazon. He looked for cheese flavor, and the very next day, the cheese flavor was delivered. Right. So what is Amazon, Flipkart, Blinkit, Zapto? What are they doing? They're giving you more options. Right. You can't have everything at your nearby store. So this is an example of more choices. If you talk about Netflix, prior to Netflix, we had a lot of channels. Every channel had some ownership of the content, right? When Netflix came, they gave you a lot of options. You can have documentaries if you want documentaries. If you want to look for K dramas, you can look for K dramas. If you want to look for the content created in the Middle East or Turkey, if you want to have want to see content in Turkey, if you want to have different genre, you can. So this is an option, right? If you are building something, if you want to have ideas, can you offer something more? Can you offer something faster? Can you offer something cheaper or better? So these are the four golden words that you can look for when looking for an idea. So there is a very
So,
interesting
I
technique.
have a question.
Yes.
Like if you talk on the tech side, the major controversy is about Apple and Samsung. So, as we know, Samsung is more innovative than Apple, and Apple says plain luxury in the name of mobile phones. So, why is Apple more successful than Samsung despite of the innovations? Is there any specific reason behind it that Samsung needs to work on?
Okay. Okay. So you are since we are only comparing Apple and Samsung here, Apple is more successful, Samsung is not. How can you say that? Like if you look at the turnover or the amount of money that they make per phone, see, Apple is actually an ecosystem or a luxury brand. You have to understand these things. Apple is not into consumer durables. Apple don't have their fridge. Apple is not into real estate. Apple don't have their what do you call it, cruise ships. Right? Samsung has that. So smartphone is a vertical of Samsung. First thing. Second is Apple is an aspirational brand. People buy Apple phones. People buy Apple products because they're aspirational. One thing. Second, Apple has a very different way of going around it. They have their own ecosystem. They focus on privacy more than any other brand. So this is what BlackBerry worked for BlackBerry, right? BlackBerry was a exclusive brand for business owners, right, or executives, because they offered like QWERTY keypad. You can write mails on it. So they innovated in that sense. So Apple, yeah, they innovate. They try to make an ecosystem. They innovate in health. So their health products. If you have a watch, if you have an Apple Watch, or if you have a mobile, then you see their trackings and all is better than others, right? Their ecosystem is better. So I never turn off my Mac. Like it's like 6 months or 7 months since I have actually shut down my Mac. So I just close the lid. So it works for me, right? So these are two different companies targeting two different customers. So I would say a comparison won't be a better option for these companies. Anything else? Anything else from the students who are
Sir,
seeing this? Yeah. Yes.
yeah, they're asking a question. So, what is more powerful on the innovation side, like a sudden aha moment or some systematic lab research, which will work better?
Okay. Aha moments. You'll have aha moments when you are actually having that particular looking at a problem, right? If you look at Canva, let's compare Canva and Adobe, right? Adobe is into content creation products. They're having Premiere Pro. They're having this Illustrator. They're having other softwares which you can use to generate content, right? Or you can generate designs. I would say design. So they have different softwares. So that is systematic research and development. They have systematically over the years they have developed Adobe. And the aha moment was Canva when Canva was born. So I use Canva to build designs which I need in everyday use. But if I have to create something which is exceptional, I'll go for uh, Adobe or someone who knows how to make designs on Adobe, right? So these are the better comparison. Canva and Adobe. One is of the aha moment and other is of the systematic research and development. There is no comparison in between. It all comes down to the execution, right? Idea generation is one part that it is, I would say, this is my thing. I would say 10 to 20% is idea generation. Rest all come down to how you are executing it well, right? So both you can't compare both these two. You can't compare years of research done by Adobe, and you can't say that it will go down to waste, or the aha moment of Canva would actually kill Adobe. No, Canva is focusing a different set of customers, and Adobe is focusing on a different set of customers. Both are doing equally well in their industries. But yes, keep on innovating. Like Android was, you can say it was not an aha moment, but yes, Samsung went with Android and Nokia didn't switch to Android. So that killed Nokia. So it all comes down to execution and innovation. Any other question? Yes.
I think that was it for now from the student side. I guess we can move ahead for now.
Okay. Okay. There's this very interesting technique which we can use to generate ideas. So we call this technique camper technique. So you can see the screen. There are the eliminate, substitute, combine. All the full form of scamper is written. So we'll take it one by one. So when you look for substitute, so when you're trying to generate an idea, just look for a substitute of a business, right? Like you see, there is an awareness campaign going on around. Meat, right? Meat is like bad for the environment because a lot of methane, a lot of CO2 is generated. Meat is bad for because meat is not good for your health. So a lot of awareness is going for the plant-based meat. So that's a substitute, right? Someone who is working in this industry came up with an idea: can we have a plant-based meat, right? Or can we have a lab-grown meat? That's a substitute. Substitute to books. You're reading a book, right? You are like, I want to read three books. I want to read 4 pages, and then I'm not interested in this book. Let me shift to a next book. What's the substitute of a book? Can you name? Ebook. An ebook can have, if not thousands, they can have millions of books, right? That's a substitute. So you can have an idea by substitution. Take up something. What can be a substitute to that, right? Now let's combine. When I was your age, 9 to 12, so it was my dream, kind of like a dream, to have a, what do you call it, a camera, like a DSLR camera. But since I didn't buy the DSLR, it was a good decision. Why? Because now we have cameras in your smartphones which are equally well with a DSLR camera. Obviously, if you are doing something professionally, like if you're a professional photographer, you might need a DSLR camera to have those macro shots, to have those real life or wide shots, to look for the exposure and whatnot. So we combined something. When I was your age, there was a product named iPod. It was a great product, right? And then came an iPod with a screen. It was amazing. But do we really need an iPod with a screen now? Or do we really need an iPod? Why? Because we have smartphones with equally well music capabilities, right? So these are combining. Can you combine? So earlier you need to have a, what do you call that thing which takes up your blood pressure, which maps your blood pressure, or a stethoscope, right? Do you really need that now? We have it in your watches. So that's combining. Can you actually take up an existing innovation or an existing product, and then you combine it with something to create a billion-dollar idea, right? Adapt. Mac Aloo Tikki. Mac Aloo Tikki, they came to India, they adapted their product, and it's a success, right? You know, when companies came to India, these companies, e-commerce companies, when we had our e-commerce boom after 2010, someone adapted to the Indian customers. And what was that adaptation? It was an idea, right? The idea was cash on delivery. So Indians earlier, because since it was a new technology, you have to make a purchase online, you have to pay for it before, and then you are cynical whether the product would actually come to you or not. Cash on delivery as an idea came up, and it actually laid the foundation stone for e-commerce boom in India, right? So that's how you adapt to your customers, to your audience. Let's just modify. So probably India is a country where we call really small cars, and we name them as SUVs. So if I don't want to mention a particular car, but yes, there's this car, Quid, right? It has a SUV-like stance, or Espresso. Espresso is a really small car, but it has been named as a SUV or a mini SUV or MPV, MUV, multi-utility vehicle, right? So that's how you modify your products. So what they have done actually, they have increased the uh, ground clearance, right? given it a bumpers which are not body colored, so it looks like an SUV. Yes, it solves the purpose that Indian roads are not apt to drive a hatchback or probably a sedan. So see, these SUVs are coming up. Mini SUVs are coming up, which are in budget to a lot of Indian audience. So you can modify your offering as per your customers, and you can create a great product with that. Let's modify.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, so one of the student has a doubt that how to check if
sure.
their idea works in a real life or not, like if their idea has the
Okay,
growth or not.
okay. Yes, please tell. Okay. The idea, if they have, do you want to discuss the idea or I just take it as is?
Uh, no, their doubt is just normally how to check whether their idea
Okay,
works or
okay,
not.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. There are a lot of techniques or a lot of ways there where you can actually validate your idea. So, have you seen there is a lot of Kickstarter campaigns where you put up your idea or your MVP, minimum viable product, and customers they actually book it. Like they book it, they give you some money, and so this is a validation of the idea that yes, there's a need for this idea. The second is you can have interviews with the customers whether this that I am working on this idea and whether you would like to make a purchase or not. Does that idea solve a problem, a real life problem? So third, you can create a prototype. A prototype is something which is which has a simple functionality, right? I'm sorry. So you can create a prototype, you can create an MVP. So that is something that you can do. So that's how you validate an idea. We have discussed three. Yes, that's how you can validate an idea. But then there is a lot of other things that you should consider. Like nano seems to be seen to be a great idea, but it didn't work. So you have to build fast, launch fast, something of that sort. Yeah. Any other question?
Not for now, so you can continue.
Okay. Modify. Mini SUVs, MPV in India, modified for the Indian roads. The next is put to other use. I want to share a story. I recently I went to Singapore, and there I met a marketing executive from this company 3M. You might have heard about 3M. So there is a very interesting case. 3M has a lot of innovative products. They're really an innovative company. They have a lot of innovative products. So she told me that you can't have screws and bolts in airplane. When you're flying, you have to keep the load minimum. You can't have screws and bolts in an airplane. So what they do, they actually use a gum, a sticky substance to actually paste the components in the airplane. So maybe when you look at your windows in an airplane, those are stick together, not tightened with a bolt and screw, because that would increase the weight. So 3M, they came up with this product which they can use to stick the windows or to stick the parts of an airplane. And you know what? 3M, they had that innovation. They had it with them. What they did with that innovation is amazing. So they launched their own post-it notes. So the sticky notes that you use today, that was innovated by 3M. So the same innovation, the same product that is being used to stick the panels in an airplane are maybe some iteration, some modification has been done to that, but that same substance is used in sticky notes. So can you have an existing innovation or the drones when they came up? The same drone is used for military purposes, and the same drone is used in videography in a wedding. Can you see? For military purpose drone has been put to another use, which is like a videography in a wedding. Can you generate ideas like this? Eliminate. Eliminate something to create more value. So Indigo is probably the most profitable airlines. So what these new airline companies like Rayan Air is a case study in itself. So what they do? So you get when you book a airline flight, you get a baggage. Like you get a cabin baggage, you get a check-in baggage. So this is the check-in baggage limit, which is 15 kgs, and this is the cabin baggage limit, right? So a few of these airlines they eliminated cabin baggage for a short period flight, like from probably Delhi to Chandigarh. So they save a lot of weight in airlines. Or the low cost airlines, they eliminate serving food. Can you work on an idea? It's all about cutting the cost sometimes. So eliminate. Can you eliminate something else? Like I earlier, when there was no Ola and Uber, we used to own a car. Like a lot of you own a car, right? Your parents own a car. But do we need to own a car? Because since I don't drive it for months, do I need to own a car? So Uber and Ola, they eliminated the need of car ownership. Am I right? Can you work on an idea like that? And the last is reverse or reorganize. There's a process. You do this first. This is the second step. This is the third step. Can you reverse or reorganize the process? Can you think completely differently? Can you rearrange the product or reverse the process to create $1 billion idea or create an idea that is good for society, right? Like pay for the meal first. Like McDonald's, before McDonald's, which is a QSR, which is quick service restaurant, before McDonald's was a reality, people used to go to the restaurants, they ordered food, they dined, they ate the food, and then they paid. Now, McDonald's, it tried to rearrange the process. See, why I'm only taking example of McDonald's because McDonald's is really old and they actually did it. So they asked the payment for the food first and then they delivered it. Think about it in a time where every other restaurant is asking for the payment after the goods are like they have eaten the food. But McDonald's came with an idea, reverse, reorganized, rearranged the process, and they took the payment before. Or Lenskart, let's take an Indian example. Try and buy. At your house, you can try the products on that 3D app that they have integrated on their website or application. You can try the glasses on your own face and then you can make a purchase. The try and buy. Rearrange the offering. Reverse the process. Have you seen this company? There's a mattress brand in India and they gave a 30-day money back, no question asked, money back policy if the customer don't like the mattress, reversing the process, rearranging the product. Have you seen a company giving you a full refund in 30 days if you don't like the mattress? Because mattress as a product is something where you will sleep for 30 days. So can you come up with an idea? So this is the scamper technique. So thank you. I hope you get an an idea. I hope you get the process on how you can generate more and more ideas. Now I'll open the session for questions.
Right.
Sir,
So when we are on the modify or magnify step, how do we balance between improvement and overcomplication?
Improvement and over complication when you are modifying. So if you're modifying an existing product, always have your customers in your mind. So the second stage, or I would say the stage which is very crucial to this, is empathy. Empathize with your customers. What is empathy? You have your customers in your mind. You see how your customers would use it. So that is improvement. You make a really complex product, but nobody is using it, right? End of the day, you're creating a utility of your product. You're creating a utility with your service, right? So a simple product which is used by your customer, that is a modification, right? Always keep your customer in your mind so that you don't lose the track between over complication and improvement. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, some students were asking about how to use AI to build the business. Like, what is the intervention of AI in building businesses and sustaining?
Great idea. Great idea. So recently, I met with my friend. I met a person. He became my friend. So he told me that in information technology or in IT, in corporates, there are companies they are using a lot of softwares, but then there is a learning curve. There is an implementation curve. When you buy a software for your company, let's suppose you have 100 employees. So you have to train your employees for the software. There is a learning curve to it. You have to implement all the software with the systems, with your existing systems. So he thought all the repetitive tasks can be overcome that by AI. So he's building that. So what you can do is in that scamper technique, if you're building a product, ask how much of it can be worked upon, can be done by AI. Can we have a monotonous task? Can we have a repeated task? And can we make it through AI? Can we do it through AI? That's how you incorporate AI into your idea, right? Anything else? So
Yeah, so there is another doubt
yeah.
ki, how can I convince my customer that my product is better than other one?
Okay, that's a marketing question.
This is from chat section.
Okay, nice. I can actually access the chat now, right? I can access it. So, okay. So you can actually take up questions from the chat and you can let me know. I'll take up that questions. So how to actually convince the customer that your product is great? If your product is great, you don't need convincing. If you are having, see, you have one customer use your product, and if it is a utility for that customer, if it solves a problem for that customer would eventually tell to a next customer. There is marketing that you have to do for your uh, whatever product that you have. You have to have a logo, you have to have a brand name, you can have a story to tell so that it is actually a long retention curve with a story, right? But then if you have a great product and if it's solving a problem, getting first 100 customers is difficult, right? Have you heard it again and again? But if you are solving a real problem for that customer, take the feedback, improve your product, relaunch it, or give another iteration. If it solves a real problem, you don't have to convince your customer. Yes.
So there's a question. When we have all the idea, etc., and want to register our startup officially and legally, so is there any way to do this as a minor?
Okay. You have an idea, but you want to safeguard your idea. Is this am I getting it right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
One thing that I want you to know is that you can't have a patent or a copyright on your idea, right? So there was Uber, there was Ola, there was Rapido, there's Zepto, there is Zomato. These companies are there. They have competitors. So you can't copyright or trademark an idea. But there are ways where actually you can safeguard your innovation. There you can have a process patent. You can a process or utility patents are there. So that is something that you can do. If you want to, there are a lot of like if you startup India, they offer you a lot of services like that. You can form a company with their help. You can file patents at a reduced price. They have subsidies for patents. They help you for with patents. All these things you can do. Okay. I see a question. Preeti Garg. Sir, if my idea needs lab work in chemistry, so how you can achieve that? Oh, that is not a problem nowadays. You think that it's a problem that to find a chemistry lab. If you are on LinkedIn, if you are on a platform, just go and go to your nearby college and look for a professor in that college. Tell them your idea that you want to build this, and probably they would help you out. I have seen colleges open to these kind of innovations. Right, if you're looking for chemistry lab, probably IIT Delhi has an incubator FITT, and they are into biotech. They have a specific sectors that they work into. You get yourself incubated with that. These things are not an issue. You look for accelerators, incubators who are into technical stuff, who are into biotech. You can do something of that sort. Preeti Garg. Any other question?
Yes, sir. There was a question. So, how do young entrepreneurs manage between creative ideas and the practical limitations of that?
There are creative ideas and practical limitations. Okay, so what is Elon Musk doing? In 1996, he thought of uh, going to Mars, and not just going to Mars, taking an entire population to Mars and then inhabiting that particular planet. 20 years like before, it seemed like a really a delusion or unrealistic dream. But since now, when the Starship has landed back, when there are rockets which can land back, when there are spacesuits, better spacesuits, it does seem that in some time, maybe half a century forward, we can imagine something of that sort, right? So, yes, you have to think about that. Look for, I would say, take a lot of feedbacks, have some mentors from the industry, some industry veterans you can look for who have already working in that industry, whether you can make it realistic or not. Surround yourself with the type of people who are actually innovators, who can think beyond the thinking, right? Those will let you know that yes, whether this is possible or not, right?
And, sir,
Yes.
which startup sectors do you think are currently unexplored, which the students get into?
Okay. Uh, if you look at it, a lot of sectors need improvement, and if you look at it at a from the eyes of a pessimist, you see there is no improvement possible. So you have to actually work around it. If you talk about EVs, we need better EVs now. We need technologies where we can actually recycle EVs, something recycle batteries. You can work upon that direction. Solve for the population. Solve for the planning, the roads, waste management, consumer. What are the problems of a growing nation like India? Population is there, or mental health is there, or EV boom is there. So work around something. EV financial literacy can be a problem that you can solve for Indians or for our. These are all the issues. These are all the problems that you can look for. There are many, I would say. So don't limit yourself. Yeah. More questions? I see a lot of questions.
One student was asking about like if one is starting a startup, like launching a startup, then what scares him or are the most like, and how to overcome the fear that fear.
Okay, overcoming fear and the skills. Okay, let me take up the first question. An entrepreneur, or you can be an entrepreneur, then you don't run your own company. Like, I don't want to mention a lot of names here, but if you see founder of this company, Boat, he's not the CEO of that company. Someone else is actually handling the operations. Someone else is actually being an executive. So he is good at marketing. So he is the CMO of the company, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you one thing that is non-negotiable is creative, risk-taking appetite. Like entrepreneurship is risky, right? But when you get into that journey, if you have given everything, a lot of my friends who are into this entrepreneur journey, they see a lot of pivots. What are pivots? You work in a company, you try to build a company, and there's a aha moment, which is like, okay, I'm solving this problem, but there is one more problem, and this is a better problem, a better proposition, a bigger market size. Okay, my startup is not working. I've understood. After 6 months down the line, you understood that, yes, this is not the problem I don't want to solve, or this is not the problem which is actually real in the industry. So there will be a lot of pivot moments for you where you can pivot to a new idea, something related to that. Yes, but risk taking is one ability that you should have. More questions?
So another question is that when will I know when my product has reached the mark?
Okay. Uh, if you are a perfectionist, the product would never reach its mark. If you are, because you, so one thing is launch the product, your customers would actually give you feedback and you know when you have reached the mark. When there are no feedbacks, when there are only 5 stars, you'll understand that you've reached the mark. But yes, launch first.
Sir, there is another question that how can a startup raise fund if they don't have strong connection? And what's the most common mistake early stage founders do?
Okay. The most common mistakes the early stage founders do. Okay. I have a really good insight over this. There's a problem. Those who are living in Delhi or those who live in Delhi and Gurgaon, there's a problem here that Delhi is having a good metro network and a good public uh, transportation network, but Gurgaon is not having. And there is a connectivity issue between Delhi and Gurgaon. Either travel by your own means of transport, or if you are looking for some public or some other shared means of transport, there is no good option. So there's a problem of traffic. There's a problem of a cheaper means of transport. There's a problem of a faster means of transport between Delhi and Gurgaon. So this is a problem, right? So working on that problem, the same problem, what Uber did, they created Uber Shuttle. They also understood where the problem is. The problem is people are booking a lot of cabs from Delhi to Gurgaon. So they saw, yes, there is a need of a means of transfer from Delhi to Gurgaon. So what they launched? They launched Uber Shuttle. Same problem is solved by Rapido in the form of bike taxis. It's cheaper, it's faster, better for the environment, right? Better for traffic management. Yeah. So most founders they make this mistake where they stick to the same idea and the same process of solving the idea. But maybe you can have a better idea or you can solve the same idea in a better way. So don't stick to the same process of solving the idea. A lot of you, when you come up to a problem, the best solution that you come up with is make an app or make a website. Maybe you need something else for it. So you should have an open mind while when solving a problem. You can have one problem solved in different ideas, different processes, right? This is the problem of uh, the mistakes founders make. Not enough market size also. The second is mistake the founders, or I would say, not the second mistake. If you're not having connections, right? See, in today's time, if you say that you don't have connections, I would say that's not possible. You have LinkedIn, you have reach out to investors, reach out to entrepreneurs, discuss it with them, take their time, ask them for 5 minutes of their time that you're looking for a feedback. You can, there are a lot of meetups in and around cities in Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai. There are meetups where investors meet. So just like you are looking for investors, investors are actually looking for startups to invest in, right? So you have to look for right investors.
So, linking with the same, how can we convince investors? Like, if they are skeptical about age or experience, what is the best way for young entrepreneurs to showcase their credibility? Can you elaborate on that?
Okay. So there is no best way to do it, but I'll at least give you something. Meet a lot of investors. They'll give you their queries. Work upon that. They'll give you their feedback. Work upon that feedback. Come up with a better version of the idea. Come up with whatever they investors are looking at. Ask the investors, I'm looking for a feedback and not for the investment as of now. So they will proactively give you a feedback. Take the feedback, work upon it. And then there is no right answer to this, and then your conviction is there. How convicted you are to the idea. So if you want uh, proof of concept you can show, or MVP you can build, or prototype you can build, or the government of India, they're taking proactive steps. There must be a hackathon, there must be a showcase, there must be something in your field or in your domain, I would say. If you're building something for climate, there are a lot of events going on in climate. If you're building something for defense, there are a lot of events going on defense. So attend those events, look for industry veterans, take their feedback. And yes,
Yes, sir. So the question is, if entrepreneurship thrives on scarcity, would a world of abundance kill the need for entrepreneurs?
okay. Can you say that again?
If entrepreneurship thrives on scarcity, would a world of abundance kill the need for entrepreneurs?
If entrepreneurs tries scarcity,
Thrives on scarcity. Yes, yes.
okay, thrives on scarcity.
Would a
Okay,
world of abundance kill the need for entrepreneurs?
okay. So you are saying if there are less entrepreneurs, the world of abundance would actually kill the need for entrepreneurs, something of that sort. If entrepreneurs are scarce, right? If there
No,
are
no,
less
no, no, no. If
entrepreneurs,
entrepreneurship thrives on scarcity, now, for suppose if there is a scarcity in, uh, let's say, for money, we are now using UPI to make it easier. If that scarcity is not there in any of the sector, then would a
okay,
world of abundance, like we have everything we need, will that need kill the need for entrepreneurs?
okay. So that's a really that's a hypothetical question where there is a world where we have everything, but I've seen it. When we have everything, there are different issues. So look for uh, two different set of customers. One has everything. He has a separate issue. He has a separate need for something. And who has nothing. You can build for that. So if you look at the triangle, when we solve for tier one customers or tier two customers or tier three customers, you've seen this. Uh, there's a need for something with every set of customers, right? So I won't say that entrepreneurship would be killed when there is a world of abundance. There are separate issues when you have reached to that point where there is abundance for everything, right? There are separate issues. Maybe uh, when you have reached abundance in India, there will be a need to go to Mars, or if you have reached Mars, there will be a need to go to Moon. Could be anything. Yes, entrepreneurship would never get killed.
Yeah, sir. There is another doubt कि how मतलब as a school student how can I on which मतलब domains I can start a business मतलब
Okay, I see a domain that you are in, school students. Schools, source for school students. See, I really don't know what your need is, right? If I am not a school student now, because my needs when I was a school student, has maybe it's obsolete. So, what are the needs of school students today? Can you solve for it? Because you have real world experience. Am I right? Can you do that? So, as a school students, every person in the industry, every person in a particular space has some problem, right? I see a lot of problem when in Delhi, when schools during the hours when school students are traveling, I see a lot of traffic issue. Can you do something about it? When students go to school, there are a lot of buses, there is a lot of traffic issue. Can you do something about it? Nobody is doing anything for this, right? Who is solving for stress management in school students? Isn't it a problem that you can't solve for?
Counselors are doing like their jobs. Like counselors are one way of solving that problem. Problem
Counselors.
of mental health. Yes.
Okay. See, in India, going to a counselor again considered a taboo, right? We won't go there that way. Can you do something like how? Tell me the market size first. Tell me the market size of the problem or the size of the problem. How big the problem is. Interview a few school students. Interview a few schools around Bangalore, Delhi. Maybe you can solve for it. Yes. Other question. Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Nice.
So, sir, there's a question that what businesses should a school student get into to earn money at an early stage?
A business a school student gets into to earn money. That is not part of this session. Um, so it's more of we are generating ideas for the society, for the better of the society. If you can build something, if you can solve something for the society or solve something for people. So this is yes, but a business idea where you can actually earn in school. So startups is a long-term process. You build something for the market. You maybe sometimes you create a new market in itself. That's what startup is. So this session should revolve around startups and not businesses.
Yes.
We
Startup
don't want
is
to
like
be
mostly solving the problem and not earning the business. Like in the long
no
run, it
no
would become business.
profits are profits are really important in startup. I'm not saying that profits are not important, but yes, startup is actually solving a unique problem. You have a unique proposition when you are working in a startup.
Yeah. So, but in the initial stage, problem solving is the focus. Yes. In the
Why
long run,
this
we can focus on the
company?
profit.
No, see why business startups. do not make money in the short run. Even if they are profitable, even if they have the money, they'll go and expand to a different market. So there is something there is something else at play. But I have seen a lot of startups who are profitable from day one. Zerodha, the classic example, Fern and Petal. They are profitable startups from day one. And if you look at their competitors, Upstock, Grow, they are not making profit. But they don't have an issue with that too, right? Because they're trying to capture the market. They're trying to, yeah, okay. So startups can be profitable and it should be profitable, I would say. Yes.
So we'll be wrapping up with this one question, and the question is that what habits should an entrepreneur have to, I mean, while starting a startup or an idea, or
Okay. The habits that you're looking for. So I have a list of 6 traits of an entrepreneur. The first is curiosity. You should be curious, right? Second is fearless. You should be fearless. Be playful, right? Third is playful. Fourth is you should have an attitude. Let's try something new. Ask questions. Like this is the fourth. Ask questions. Try something new. Okay, can we use this to solve this? Try asking questions. Can think positives, negatives, addition, deletion. This is one trait of an entrepreneur. Can we remove this or can we add this? Like the example I took of Indigo. Ask questions like can we add something to it? Can we delete something from this? Right? And the last is a maker. An entrepreneur is actually a maker, right? A maker is someone who can actually build. You are a learner also, right? You have to learn a lot of things while building a process. Let's suppose you have an idea, right? You have a great idea, you're trying to build a product, but you don't know how to build that product. So you will have a team member, you will have a co-founder, you will hire someone, but how you should have a people, you should have people skills to work around with people, right? So these are a few attributes, a few uh, traits of a good entrepreneur, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights on entrepreneurship, mainly specifically ideation. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you learned something from today's workshop. And so the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge is more than a competition. It's a launch pad for the next generation of innovators. On behalf of E-Cell IIT Kanpur, we can't wait to see you at YC 2025 and the grand finale at E-Summit. And once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. We'll be wrapping up now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, you were a good team. It was a great session. Thank you.